kita melihat perbezaan antara FM, Facilities Management dan juga Property Management, kita kena tengok dia dalam konteks yang berbeza. Bila kita menyebut Property Management dan juga FM dalam konteks yang sama, maka kita tak dapat lari daripada melihat persamaan. So kita kena tengok dalam konteks yang berbeza. Jadi kita tengok dalam konteks yang pertama. Kalau kita lihat FM dan juga Property Management itu dalam konteks sebagai service provider, maka pihak klien akan appoint sama ada FM atau Property Management, katalah contohnya untuk membuat kerja-kerja maintenance. Maka dalam konteks itu tidak ada perbezaan di antara FM dengan Property Management. Tak ada perbezaan dekat situ. Sebab klien kalau nakkan FM company ni buat kerja maintenance, ataupun dia nakkan company Property Management ni buat kerja maintenance, servis yang di provide by these two companies bergantung pada apa yang klien nak. So dalam konteks itu tak ada perbezaan. Bila kita sebut tentang perbezaan, dia lebih banyak kepada skop. Skop kerja tu bila FM itu duduknya pada peringkat in-house, dekat situ maka akan timbulnya perbezaan. Di mana bila FM itu adalah in-house, maka kalau kita tengok model-model di luar negara, kebanyakan FM company akan terlibat pada peringkat strategik, di mana kita tahu bahawa sumber strategik sesebuah organisasi iaitu kewangan, tenaga kerja, knowledge dan juga facilities. Facilities adalah salah satu dari sumber strategik sesebuah organisasi. Jadi di banyak tempat di luar negara di mana FM duduk pada strategic level, FM come up dengan facility strategic plan untuk membantu pihak organisasi untuk mencapai matlamat. Di dalam konteks ini kita melihat bahawa FM itu sendiri bertindak sebagai salah satu daripada enabler kepada organisasi tersebut untuk mencapai matlamat. Tetapi property management dalam konteks ini dia masih lagi diperlukan untuk memastikan kalau dah di-appoint untuk buat kerja-kerja maintenance, maka dipastikan yang bangunan itu mesti dalam maintenance perlu dijalankan dengan baik. Dia tetap akan menjalankan kerja-kerja operasi. Kalau ada melibatkan ruang-ruang yang disewa, maka dipastikan tenant bayar sewa, dan semua-semua tu. Right? Property management still akan menjalankan kerja-kerja tu. Tetapi sebab company ni ada in-house maka FM ini dah menjadi salah satu daripada entiti pada peringkat strategi dan membantu organisasi tersebut untuk mencapai matlamat. Kalau kita lihat model-model daripada luar negara, cukup jelas kita lihat di mana FM lebih kepada business punya part, dia lebih concern dengan the business of the organisation. Cuma dia ada juga parts dia yang terlibat dengan bahagian operasi, maintenance, building performance and all those kind of things. Property management companies dia cukup jelas kerjanya adalah untuk memastikan bahawa property klien yang dia manage adalah dalam keadaan yang baik, dan kita boleh dapat profit daripada space yang ada. Itu memang jelas bidang kerja dia. Dan FM jelas duduknya pada peringkat strategi.
Well, from the place that I come from, I mean, from the training that I get as a property management student, and having worked as a valuer, so to me, property management is basically about looking after the value of the property. So, meaning that where the value of the property comes from, if you say it's a commercial property, it actually comes from the rent. So, being a property manager and trained as a valuer, you will try to get right tenants so that the value of the building can be maintained. And of course, under the property management program or estate management program, you were exposed to the buildings, the maintenance of the buildings, some engineering aspects of the building. So you know how to look after the fabric of the building. So combining the physical fabric as well as the commercial, the value part. So you are the right person to be a property manager. So in a way, if you compare with the facility manager, who perhaps has got more technical knowledge about each and every component of the building or building services. Okay, and I see that person who is someone can advise on how the facilities could help the business grow. So, in other words, that business could be hospitality, could be manufacturing, anything, right? So, the focus of facility management is more specialized compared to the generic property manager who looks at overall without having that niche, say hospitals, say factory, or any sorts of business organizations. So that's how I will put it briefly about the differences.
You have to settle the fundamental, the principles of property and what is facilities. Then you can understand better what is property management and what is facilities management. Okay, property, as it is said, is land and building. And when we talk about properties, it's about the rights, the executive functions of the owner of the properties. Okay, but facilities, it's anything that facilitate the users in conducting activities of the organizations. Why? Because when we talk about facilities management, you are dealing with the people, process, and place, where we have to provide facilities management services, okay, that cater to aim the productivities and the organization's aim and objective. But properties, you are managing the return on investment of that kind of properties. The aim is for return on investment, which is the monetary, okay, that properties can generate, whether it's benefit or in terms of social benefit or monetary, okay, which is the generations of income. But facilities management is to provide conducive environment to achieve organization objective. For example, I give you as airport. What is an airport? As an object. Airport is a property. Airport is asset to the owners. And airport is facilities to the users. So in this case, how are you going to manage an airport? The answer is not straight away yes, this supposed to be facilities management. Yes, we require property management only. No, it's not that. Why? Because it's based on the business of the organization, hospital. But we required facilities management to manage healthcare services. Why? Healthcare services is about providing a service and conducive environment to the users. Property, we are talking about the income that properties can generate. For example, commercial properties. What make people say property and facilities is the same when they see in a wrong perspective of what is property and what is facilities management. Why? They see facilities management as maintenance. Maintenance is maintenance. Maintenance management is about maintenance, it's about the functionality. We have to cater the building, the conditions, tidy it up. All these things is the maintenance. And in property management activities, there are also the maintenance activities. But it's a maintenance. Property management is what? Dealing with tenant, property interests, rights. And this is not being looked from facilities management. Facilities management don't look at the ROI. That is really property management specialists. Because we are looking at the people, process, and place to provide conducive environment. But okay, the functions of facilities management will help property manager in general income. They are actually have to work together, supporting each other.
But academically, we got problems because we have different schools of thought on this. But that is from academic point of view, because you have definition of property management and facility management. Facility management with the process, people, and even now technology and all that. So that is academic point of view. But if you go out there, lots of professionals, they are working under the umbrella of property managers, but they also provide facility management services. In contrast, I mean, vice versa, the facility management also are capable of giving advices on property management matters. Perhaps the value part maybe lacking a bit. But in terms of looking after the building, the fabric maintenance of the building, both sides are qualified, you know. But my concern is perhaps the facility managers are too specialized. They could be too specialized. They won't be able to advise as a general practitioner of, you know, that who can advise the property management issue in general. Okay, so the traditional understanding is that property manager controls the facility manager. So the facility manager does not need to be an in-house person. He or she can come in anytime when we need their services, and they go once they've done their job. But the property manager, who is someone stationed there, and he handles everything about the building, A to Z, including the value, you know, maintenance, future plan, and so on. So I don't see that problem. Practice-wise, there is no restriction saying that I cannot do this, you cannot do that. They can do everything they want as long as the client agreed. The client agreed to pay for the services and they're happy with the services. That's fine. So there's no issue in practice. So to me, I agree there are similarities. There are similarities, but when you have been doing the job for a long time, so you tend to develop your own skills and expertise. That expertise and your networking with the client would determine whether you can price yourself as a property manager or facility manager.
Not authority level structure, is about approach. Sometimes you have to be together, sometimes you are subset, sometimes you are main. Why? It's based on the business. If you're dealing with healthcare services, as I said, property is under the facility management. Why? You still have a unit that to be rented out in hospital, but that's not your core business. Your core business is what? Patient is healthcare services, then healthcare services require facilities management to provide good service of healthcare. But if you're talking about shopping complex, commercial properties, what's your core business? It's tenancy. So the facilities management is supporting the property manager in order to provide conducive environment so that they have a good rental. So in this case, facilities management is under the property manager. It's different.
Yeah, it's a difficult question to answer. So I don't see the need for the board to regulate facility managers, because these facility managers and property managers, as far as I can see, they are interchangeable. Meaning, you have property managers who are also giving facility management services and vice versa. So I don't see the need for board have to regulate facility managers as well. Since we have CIDB has been registering facility managers who are providing services to government agencies and so on, so we don't have to get involved and regulate everybody just because they are doing something related to property. Not needed. So that's my opinion.
Based on our opinion from the interview with more knowledgeable person just now, we have built our own opinion regarding this matter. In our opinion, there is a similarities and the differences between property management and facilities management. In terms of similarities, there is a similarities between PM and FM when the clients appoint them to perform their work, such as doing maintenance. So, in this context, there is no difference in the scope of work between this FM and PM, which acted as a service provider that performed their work based on the client's need and requirement. In terms of differences between FM and PM, we found that they have differences in the objective phase and planning. PM and FM have a different objective, which is FM is focusing on the productivity of the user base, which is they have the aim to produce a conducive environment to provide physical services and to fulfill the end user requirement. But PM is more focusing more in return of investment from the building, such as they focus on how to maintain and increase the economic value, financial ability and forecast paybacks. PM also have the objective to maintain the operation and condition of the property. In the term of phase and planning, there is also the differences between PM and FM in their scope of work. PM involved in strategic, tactical, and operational planning of the facilities. For example, FM involved in facility strategic plans of the buildings, and they have also accountable for physical services such as safety. But for PM, it involved in the operational phase such as maintaining the property rentals, attract tenants by advertising vacancies, handling leasing contract, and doing maintenance of the buildings. For example, FM is needed in managing hospital, airport, and UTM as they provide the service that meets the needs of the user. Meanwhile, PM is more needed in managing the operational of strata buildings, shopping complex, and office buildings. That's all from us. Thank you.